Okay guys, I'm going to show you the Nintendo Family Computer and disk drive, give you a little walkthrough, a little concept of it, give you the pros and cons. This is my little game room. I don't have all my machines like my NES and so forth here yet, so I can only show you what I do have. Here's my PlayStation 3, evil PlayStation 3, graphics only, and my Virtual Boy, which I've not had a seizure yet of having it. And but if I do hit the ground and do the funky chicken, I'll let you guys know. Here's the Nintendo Wii, designated towards more gameplay, which is always better than graphics. And here's the family computer and the disk drive. Now first off, I'd like to show you the boxes for both of the machines. If you'd have bought this in the 80s, I acquired this one actually in Korea. It actually comes with a nice little comic booklet, family computer. And here's the disk system, which I bought in Japan, which is kind of funny, doesn't come with the AC adapter. You have to acquire that separately, but you don't need it. You can actually put in batteries, but it is advisable to acquire the AC adapter, especially if you're in Japan, and you pretty much can only get these in Japan, most off. Okay, first off with the family computer. A little quick bio. It was prior to the NES. And the reason why this wasn't sold like this in the United States was, from what I read, was Atari kind of collapsed the market and they had to go with a different look. And also they added better features. Pretty much took away the cons from this machine, which I'll point out when they made the NES. Okay, one of the first cons for this machine, it's no fault of Nintendo, but it can only really be used on a Japanese style TV. But I've lucked up to where it works on this Gold Star. It's a Korean brand TV. I found kind of real cheap. I paid like 20,000 won. It's under 20 US dollars in the market. Because when I first bought this machine, it wouldn't work. And there's a lot of theories. I've tried them all. But simply, the fact is, I looked up and found TV that it works on, but I don't get sound. So I'm probably just going to have to acquire a Japanese TV, which most likely I will, or pretty much mod it. And I'm not going to do that. Another con is the controller. Looks pretty similar. One, you can't take the controllers out. To give you a little idea. And it's, again, advisable to buy a second controller for a backup, but you can see how the wires, how you have to connect it, take the machine apart. And also, another con with the controller is where the cord comes out. It's actually on the left-hand side of the controller, which is kind of annoying, as you can see, but you sort of overlook it and forget about it. But the NES version, it came out from the top, so it's not all in the way of your hands. Give you another idea of the machine. Show you the back of it. Pretty much same thing as the NES. You can change it to channel 1 or channel 2. And here's the adapter version, AC adapter. Which I'll unplug. Now in the front here was a connector for a keyboard, hint family computer, and also you could connect the Rob the Robot onto there, the version that they came out in afterwards, because it was first released with the NES, but actually came out with a family computer version, which I saw in Japan, which was kind of unique. All right, typical cartridge, almost like the NES, but not. This would not fit in an NES unless you have a converter. You just plop it in. Pretty easy. And don't yank them out. You just push upwards. Pops out. I have a habit of sometimes trying to yank it out. Give you ideas of other games. Wrecking Crew. The original Mario Brothers. And as you saw, Kirby. Okay. Now the disk drive. Disk drive was developed mainly for to be able to save the games. It's pretty simple. Connect it into the back of there. And top load it into here. Pretty easy. Now, it's just like any disk drive. Pop out the disk. This is not the game, this is an actual protector. Keep the head still when you move with it. Now to give you a little walkthrough on the disc, here's the original Zelda game, which they would have called Hyrule Fantasy. This one was released in '86, unlike the other one in '87 for the NES. Give you a little idea, little stickers of the book. the back of the book, the back of Link, so forth. Here's kind of a little interesting. There's a little Buddhist emblem right there, which I thought was kind of funny. I mean, not knocking Buddhists if there's any out there, but I don't really remember that in the NES, but I could be wrong. Just correct me. Someone just leave a little note down there. It's been years since I've seen the NES book for the first one. Alright, to give you a little idea, you know, they were kind of ahead of their times. They weren't using the big floppy disk, bulky black disk that we're used to growing up. I mean, most of us anyway, with the original computers during the 80s. But kind of ahead of their times. You have to be real careful with these. They're real sensitive. There's an A and B side. A, B. You have to be real careful. You really don't want to damage these because you have to go back to Japan and try to acquire them. Which I looked up, got the last two while I was at the Super Potato. And there's Zelda 2. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. And also, if you acquire the box version, which I highly recommend, you'll get the original posters of Metroid, the original Zelda poster that first came out, which they called Hyrule Fantasy, and Mario 2, which the real Mario 2 that would not be released in the United States until the Super Nintendo came out. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and any mistakes that I commented on, just correct me, and I'll stand clear on that, because everybody can be corrected. Alright, thank you. Have a good day.